Guys, a lot has happened in the Premier League today, and Arsenal is taking on Ipswich at the Emirates Stadium. That is, you might say today, if I told you in the country I'm in, if I told you in another country, it might be on the 27th, but the date is 27th of, it's the 27th of December. That's when Arsenal is going to be taking into action to obviously see to it that they obviously continue their winning run. Remember, they had drawn with Fulham and Everton before they went ahead to obviously beat which team did they beat 3-0? It was 5, by the way, before they beat Crystal Palace by 5-1, and they are trying to obviously do the needful. So welcome to the Rokani Media Football. Man City has dropped points, drawn 1-1, and then the side of Chelsea has been beaten by Fulham by 2-1. Everton has drawn with Man City, and United has been beaten by Wolverhampton Wanderers in a result that I really all hugely anticipated, that United was obviously gonna really face that. So let's obviously get into this beautiful game of football where Arsenal is gonna be hosting Ipswich. Now, Arsenal comes to this game of football knowing that they need to obviously keep or really put the foot on the pedal before they obviously play their last game that obviously ends up the first round of the Premier League against Brentford. And if you're going to be playing against Brentford away, another London derby, you have to obviously win this one when you're playing at home. And this is what Arsenal really has to do into everything they're really thinking about to do into the mix. So Arsenal is really one of those teams that are really going to be doing the needful, and they want to really keep their winning run going on and on and on and on. Now, Arsenal comes into this game of football with some sad news of Bukayo Saka, who is really going to be out for some long time. The manager said he's really going to be out for long, though sources say 8 weeks. But if it's 8 weeks, that means he's out of January and February. He might come back in March, April, and May. That is it. But how will Arsenal do their job without Bukayo Saka? The other player is Ben White, Takahiro Tomiyasu. I think those are some of the players that are really not expected to be part of this game of football. Raheem Sterling has an injury. He's also going to be out for a very long time. And Zinchenko is another one who is really doubtful for this encounter. Then, for the side of Ipswich, they don't have their captain, Sam Mossy, because he now has 5 yellow cards. He's not expected to be part of this game. Calvin Phillips is one of those who's really a doubt, And Liam Delap is back from suspension, that striker that very many clubs are really looking at. And obviously, a lot is yet to be looked at. Now, those who are totally out, Chiedozie Ogbene, Achilles injury. Jonoy Donacien, he's not fit. George Hurst is having he's having an injury, and Axel Twanzebe is having a thigh injury. So those are the players that are really going to be out. But Omar Hutchinson, the Arsenal player who was in the academy, and really when his contract went down, guess what happened? He found himself in a position of really finding a position or a place to play at Chelsea, and Chelsea sold him to Ipswich, and that's where he is. And he's a player who scored a very beautiful goal against Manchester United. That is it. So, as everything really comes to play, all is not okay for him as Henderson, because he feels like he has to come up and obviously put in a very beautiful shift altogether. So, that's all we had about the team news, and let's get into the probable starting 11 for the club of Arsenal. And the system that Arsenal plays is very much known. It's a 4-3-3 system. It's written all over the wall, and they're really doing okay. And in goal, obviously, it's gonna be David Raya. I think it's been he has to obviously keep a clean sheet against Ipswich, but Ipswich is not an easy side. Managed by McKenna Kieran, former assistant manager for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at Manchester United, and now he's doing a very, very, very beautiful job. Right back, obviously, it's obviously gonna be Julian Timber. According to me, he's gonna be played as a right back in the system. Left back, Lewis Kelly has been starting, but I think Ricardo Carafiori will come in through because the manager might obviously say, let Carafiori really do the needful. As he's a youngster, we shouldn't obviously play him very many games. And I tell you what, a lot has to be done into the mix. Now, right-sided centre-back, William Saliba, no doubt about that. Left-sided centre-back, it's all about Gabriel Magalhaes, right? Gabriel Magalhaes is the left-sided centre-back for the club of Arsenal. And I believe that's how the back five is really gonna be looking like at that stadium of Emirates. That is tomorrow. Then CDM, I think Thomas Partey is obviously gonna be given a very huge goal into the mix to really play into that CDM area to obviously cover up for the team and shield the back four. Then, who are really going to be playing against him? I think he's going to bring back that three-man midfield that played against Crystal Palace of Kai Havertz and Martin Odegaard, because if you played that system or that midfield of three with a single pivot when he's playing away from home, what is going to stop him from obviously playing the same midfield when he's at home against Ipswich? Yet we all know to it that Crystal Palace away is really hard, and now he's playing at home. I think it will obviously give him the best of a benchmark to obviously come up with the best solution altogether. Right forward, Saka is out. Who do you think is going to be coming in through? It's really going to be Leandro Trossard to be played here into the mix to play as a right forward for the club of Arsenal. And you saw to it that when he came on, he really put in a very good shift into that game of football. You remember that very well. So on the left forward, I think Gabriel Martinelli will maintain his spot because he obviously scored, I think, the 5th goal. It was the 4th game, I think. 4th goal, yeah. And it was courtesy of Declan Rice who came off the bench and really had that assist for himself. And for these two, the manager might be like, Martinelli and Trossard, you should be exchanging wings. Trossard, you sometimes go to the left, and Kai Havertz switches to the right. You understand? So that's what the manager will obviously be telling them to do to obviously make it good, because no one is expected in the line apart from Gabriel Jesus, and he's one of those that you anticipate is really going to come up and obviously put in a very beautiful shift altogether at that stadium where Arsenal is going to be hosting Ipswich. And when you look at Ipswich, we anticipate that they'll be having Muric in goal, Johnson, O'Shea, Greaves, and Davies. That is the back four. Then Phillips, Kajist, and Hutchinson into the mix. Then Simdix, Clark, and Dilap will obviously be doing the due diligence here on the night. So that's what we think about this beautiful game of football, and that's how we anticipate that these teams are really going to be lining up into the best way possible. Now, if we are to go for the head-to-head stats as provided to us by Google, then we come up with a prediction. I think that will be good for you before I even really drop into my prediction into this beautiful game of football. Then thereafter, I'll obviously let you know what other games are like into the Premier League. We head into this. 1. Arsenal are unbeaten in the last 13 league games against Ipswich. That is it. And they last lost in 1984. Secondly, Ipswich are winless in the last 11 away league games against Arsenal, 4 draws and 7 losses, losing the last 4 in a row. Their last such victory was in August 1979 under Bob Robson. Thirdly, Arsenal are unbeaten in the last 41 Premier League home games against promoted sides, 36 wins, 5 draws, winning the last 12 in a row. Only Chelsea, hear me out, only Chelsea. It's only Chelsea who have come up and have had a longer run in such a competition history. 4th, Arsenal have won their final league game in 3 of the last 4 calendars, though the exception was a 2-1 defeat at Fulham on New Year's Eve last year. This is the first day their finally game of the year has come at home since 2019. A 2-1 loss to Chelsea in Mikel Arteta's first game in charge of Emirates. So they are really playing at home since 2019 in the last year game calendar. Then lastly, Arsenal have scored 5+ goals in 7 different Premier League games in 2024. The last team to do so in more top flight games in a single calendar here was Burnley, who did 9 in 1960, while the last time the Gunners did so was in 1931. So you see to it that Arsenal really having an edge, and that is why I come up here and I tell you my prediction is 3-1 for the club of Arsenal. That's what I really think the result is really going to be like for that side that is obviously going to be coming up to put in a mix, to put in a showcase at the Emirates. I believe Arsenal have all what it takes to beat the side of Tottenham, so to beat the side of Ipswich, though it's not an easy side. Their last 2 games, they've gone ahead to win them. They are really having 2 wins, and that is Ipswich for you. And I know how hard they've gone ahead to be. You remember how they went at City, Liverpool, and when Ruben Amorim came in through, they really looked like a very hard nut to crack. You understand? So, when you look at Ipswich, their previous 2 games, they've Ipswich have beaten Wolverhampton Wanderers by 2-1, and they lost their last game. They lost at home to Newcastle, right? That is Ipswich for you, and they've tried to obviously do the needful. And when you look at the table, Ipswich, when you look at the Premier League table, Ipswich is 19th. So, 19th. So, Arsenal is really having a chance to obviously do the needful, because they need to close down on Chelsea, Liverpool, because right now Liverpool is winning by 2-1, meaning they are really gonna get in that win as anticipated. So guys, I sign out for now. See you later. It has been a brief match preview because I thought that we need to bring in more and more news about your favorite teams. Bye bye.